Welcome. Today I will explain on important topics, that is JS prototyping. So to explain that, I am writing one program. So as you can see, this is the basic HTML structure and I am writing one script here. So this is start of script and this is end of script, and inside the script tag I am writing one function. Let's say the function book. So this is the book function, and then in the function body I'll be assigning the book attributes. So it is this dot name, and I'm putting some empty string over here. Now what is this? This is the object of current reference, means the function has been called from some context. So it is referring that context or that object on which it has been invoked. So this is the reference of the context of the current object. Now I am assigning attribute values as empty string for this dot name, this dot pages, this dot author, and this dot category. So everything here is blank. Then what I'll be doing is that I will just go after this and I will be calling this book by one variable. So I will initialize the book function to get a object out of this book. So let's say variable book1 equals to new book. So by this I am getting one book object. So this is the way we initialize and get one object. So if I want to access the name, page, author and category, and so I have to assign these values during the object creation. So what I am doing, I am just sending those parameters value at the time of creating that object like a constructor. So let's say I have to pass these four parameters in the book function: name, page, author and category. Let's say I am sending these as argument, and then I will be assigning them to the book objects attributes. So suppose name, pages, author and category, these I am passing, and then I am storing into the attributes of that class. So now if I want to initialize it with some values, I will be putting the value of name, page, author and category one after another. Say I am writing the book name here, and then the pages, then the author name, and then the category name. So that is my initialization, and if I want to now check whether all the attributes are set correctly or not, I will print these attributes in some alert box. So let me write the alert like book name, that will be my object book dot name, book one dot name, and the pages will be in the similar way. I can put alert, and for all attributes I'll be displaying by some alert box. So books, the book pages is book one dot pages, and book author is book one dot author, and then book category is book one dot category. So this is how I will be printing, and once it is saved I will be now running it into the Chrome browser. So you can open with Chrome and then check, see the book name is getting in the alert box, book pages, book author and book category. See, they are getting printed. That means object has been initialized with correct values. So once that is done, I am clear how to create object out of a function and how to pass on parameters as constructor during initialization of that object. Let's say I will be calling this function directly. So if I just directly call the book function, what is the object for that? If I just call a function in script, this is how we call any function. So I am just sending these parameters of the constructor, and then I am just calling normally from the script without creating any new object out of it. So in this case, what is the object which will be using to invoke the book function? Means in the current scope, when I am just calling one function like this, it is getting called internally with a object reference. This particular HTML window has a window object in the DOM structure. So that window object is being the context of this calling. So here when it is trying to access the book inside that book, that this keyword, which object it is referring? It is referring the window object. So if I just write window dot name, so it will be printing the book's name, what is being set inside the book function. This dot name equals to name, and this name is getting sent into the this object's name attribute, and this object is here window when it is being called without any object reference in the normal JavaScript function call. So whenever we are calling any function directly, it is being called with the object reference window. So let me just change the alert for this window object. So book name is window.name, book pages are window.pages, book author window.author, and book category is window.category. So once this is done, I'll be just running it to check. See, it is printing correctly. So this is, I want to explain that whenever a JavaScript function is being called, it is called with the reference of window. Now what I'll be doing, I'll try to create 2-3 more book objects. So I'll be commenting out this alert because I have already checked what this means. So I'll be creating some more book objects. Let's say I am creating 4 book objects, book 1 and then book 2 and then book 3 and then book 4. So there are 4 book objects, and for every book I'll be using a different name and page number and the author. So let's say book 1 dot, and also I want to assign one attribute description which will be a function, and it will be returning the book's description. So book 1 dot description equals to function. In JavaScript we can do in this way. For any attribute, if I just assign a function that can be called outside. So what I will be doing, I'll be returning or I can do it directly. I can directly print in some alert box all the book properties, and that will act as my description. So I'm declaring one variable book desc, and inside that I am putting the book's description like book name and then the book pages, book author and category. I'll be copying this and pasting over here. So book pages, book author, and now I'll paste the book category. And this is my the final description, and I can directly alert it so that whenever I am displaying it, I'll be able to print the book's description. and I can put one space so that it can be identified better. Otherwise the string will be in such a way you cannot distinguish all the elements of it. So you can return, or you can do one thing, you can print over here directly. So if I want to call it, so I'll be able to call by book one dot description. So instead of returning, I'm directly putting alert over here. And now if I call book one dot description, I'll be able to call it. And let's now check how I'll be able to call. See, the book name, book pages, everything is getting printed. And if I want to do this for all other objects also, book 2 3 4, what I have to do, then I have to assign this attribute for all of the objects. And the problem is that I have to replicate the syntax for each and every object. So here I am doing for book 2, and I want to check whether it is correct or not. So that is how I have changed the code. So it is now book2 dot description is equal to function. So let me access it. See, book name details and then book2 details. So it is getting printed twice. As I have not yet changed the constructor arguments for book 1 and book 2, it is printing the same thing. So what I'll be doing, I'll be changing the books attributes for book 2. So for all the books, book 2, book 3 and book 4, I'll be using different arguments so that these books are different and I can print different strings in the alert so that I can identify them during runtime, that what object I am printing. So I'll be changing the attributes. So see, I have changed the attributes for 4 books, and instead of description function writing book 1 or book 2, I can use this reference. Then it will get the current reference on which this function is called. So for book 1 I have changed to this, and in the same way I am changing for book 2 also. So currently this description function for book 1 and book 2 doesn't have any difference. So now if I want to assign similar attribute for book 3, then also I can do in this way. Just I have to change the variable from book 2 to book 3, and below that I will be changing to book 4. So now I will be able to see the description of 4 books. So for each and every book object I have injected, so I am running. This is the first book's attributes, this is the second book's attributes, this is the third book's attribute, and this is the fourth book's attribute. So the problem is that I had to inject this description function for each and every object I have created out of that book class. So this is redundant code. So what can I do? I can do it at the function level. So if I do like this, then for each and every object I don't have to do. So I can manage the function better. So the description will be another property for all the book objects. So I don't have to define that attribute as a function in every book objects. So I'll be commenting out this book, this description function at every book object. So now this is my description function, and the problem is, okay, let me first run it. See, it is now printing all the books attributes. So for 4 books it is printing. The problem of this uh, coding is that for every object there will be one description property, and this function will be replicated for all of the objects what is going to be created out of this book class. So instead of, if we just do it in a prototype fashion, so that it will be a defaulting mechanism at the class level. So at the object level it will not be replicated over the object. So I can write in this way book.prototype.description, and here I can put the function. So what will happen, that whatever book objects going to be created, it will have only one copy of the description at the class level. So for every object level it will not be like that, it will be copied. So this is some kind of inheritance or defaulting mechanism. So now you can see it is printing correctly for all of the 4 book objects. So the thing is that the prototype of book dot description, now the function I am writing. So all the properties which can be defined at the prototype level, that will have a class level single copy. So you have now understood the prototype concept in JavaScript. So prototype is a defaulting mechanism where you can assign the values at the class level. So whatever objects going to be created, that will have a default attribute at the class level. So for all objects it will be sharing a single function like this. So it will not be replicated to every object. So this is the syntax for prototype. Hope you have understood it, and I have explained with different examples. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you have any question, you just type in the comment section. Thank you very much. Bye bye.